Hello everybody, it's Joe here. Hallo und herzlich willkommen in Berlin. We are in Berlin today and we are going to be driving this class 481 and 482. I don't really get the numbering. Whoops, hang on. I don't really get the numbering, but the front carriage, they're like two carriage units. The front one is a 481 and the second coach is a 482. So they're joined together and it's nice. If you pop in, there you go. It's an S-Bahn train in Berlin. And then if you go down to the other end of this carriage, it's a separate unit. And then there's another two-car unit with a gangway and this. They come in two. Well, you don't normally see them running round in two, purely because there's not a cab at each end. But they normally come in 4-car units, 6-car units, 8-car units, and that's pretty much it. I don't think you get any longer than that, or I've certainly not seen any longer than that. We are down here at Teltow Stadt. No, we're not. I'm lying to you. That's where we're going. We are up at Henningsdorf, which is the very northern part of the line S25 on the S-Bahn in Berlin. And this is the Halter Berlin route, the S25. We are going to be running north to south from Henningsdorf through to Teltow Stadt, and we are going to be operating an all-stops service. Now, inside the cab here, it's a very, very functional train. I know that there's a couple of little bits, like this, for instance, is not correct on the front. If we have a look, it's kind of a bit... It's not the most polished add-on, like you see there. There's a lot of sharp lines. You know, it's absolutely not the most polished add-on. But in terms of functionality, this is absolutely brilliant. It's really, really good. This is how I've been spending my time, just literally bobbing up and down this line. Now, the controls are a little bit different to what you're normally used to on Train Simulator, but this add-on, there's a link in the description. Go and check it out. It's certainly worth it. Now, yeah, the S25, it's 40 kilometres, which means this is going to take us quite a while to do. But I do hope you enjoy it, because it's certainly worth it in my humble opinion. We'll just get the reverser right and forward. You can see we've got a speed limiter there. Now it's 60 out of the station. There we go. It can sometimes be a bit fiddly to get it to work. We also need to put in the IBIS code, so just bear with me, because I believe I remember the stop numbers. So we are on the 25, S25, there we go. Umlauf, we are on the number 3. The Ziel, that is, oh, hang on, let me have a think. So we are going to 84, that's where we're going, Teltow Stadt, and the starting station is 68. Henningsdorf. There we go. We will start our announcement system. That means we've got a full automatic announcement system, which I was kind of hoping if they can do something like that with this add-on, it'd be nice to see the 185 announcement system voiced by yours truly actually done on the PIS system. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Along with many other trains, it'd be nice to be able to put in the line similar to OMSI and get those announcements working properly. Now, I've turned the vigilance device off today because it's just irritating, and other than that, I think we're ready to go. You can start it up manually, but I've used the Z. You press Z on your keyboard and it has a quick drive system, a quick startup procedure. So, right, let's get those doors shut. Zurückbleiben bitte. There we go. Now, I truly hate these trains. That's why. I just find the traction motors really, really irritating. I was just leaving a pause there so that you could hear them. I just find the traction motors so irritating. They were built in 1996, which means these things are as old as I am. But yeah, I don't know if they drive them. I don't know if they're automatic train operation. I was always told that they were automatic train operation, but with this kind of a deal that's going on here, I think they might drive them. I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, they're nice to drive in terms of on Train Simulator. I think it's done very, very, very well. We've got a nice passenger view here, and as we're going along, the passengers, much like on the Glasgow, will get out, get on. You won't see them move, but they'll disappear. We'll have people changing round. We've got a couple of different views as well. You can sit down, stand up, sit down, scroll in destination, and it's Train Team Berlin, which which have made this fantastic add-on. Now, yeah, they're electric units. They pick up off a third rail, which is just on the right here, and I'm going to need to start braking. It takes a little while to get used to this, so if I go flying through any stations... If I go flying through any stations, please do just bear with me, because I'm still learning. I'm not the best S-Bahn driver out there. You know, I'd be the first to admit that. Oh, Citaro down there. Lovely. But yeah, if you are a lover of all things subways, S-Bahns, U-Bahns, commuter, suburban railways, this really is a good add-on. I mean, like I say, if you watched yesterday's video where I was playing the bus, you will know that Berlin is my favourite city on this planet. I absolutely love Berlin. I think it's such a wonderful place. If you love transport, you need to make a point of saving up some pennies and coming to this city. It's ace. And another thing I do like about these is the fact that you can open the doors whilst you're moving. Under 7 kilometres, of course. Above that, it won't work. But a lot of the transport in Berlin does open the doors whilst it's coming to a stop to speed up boarding and alighting. And I think that's great. You know, it don't fly open at 100 mile an hour because that'd just be silly. Now, the doors are controlled by me, the driver. You see the red lights come on. They all shut on their own. Not on their own, but you know what I'm trying to say. They shut, like, different speeds every time you close the doors, so they won't all shut simultaneously, which I know a lot of add-ons and a lot of trains in Train Simulator do, but yet these will not. They'll all shut at a random speed, so they all shut not together, as per the real thing. Right, come on, 100 kilometres an hour. It does also feature some mirrors. You've got mirrors here and here, which the driver would use. I don't know if they'd have to stand up like that. Well, maybe not like that, but you know what I mean. I don't know if they'd have to stand up. You've got functioning cab doors. You can use the buttons around here to operate the cab doors. Obviously not while we're on the move, because that would be silly. What does that do? Who knows? I think you can make an announcement while you're at a station. But ooh, let's get a shot there of that. That's lovely, isn't it? I just think they're ugly trains. We call them frogs because they look kind of like frogs. Can you see that? You just think I'm being daft, don't you? Yeah, we call them frogs. We've got a couple of different types. We've got squares, toasters, frogs, all in Berlin. The toasters are also called triangles. I don't know why they're called toasters, but that's their official name for them. Seriously, if you love transport, you need to come here. It's a brilliant city. The amount of... I mean, just Google the S-Bahn map, and you'll have the U-Bahn lines. You'll have all sorts on there. It's really, really worth it. Buses, trams, trains. Oh, it's just fantastic. I've just come back from a long weekend in Berlin, which is why it prompted me to go and download this. The Halter Berlin is available through Steam, I do believe. And this is separate. The Halter Berlin comes with a stock which is no longer operating. And if I stop correctly, I'll be at this stop board, which I'm not. But it's fine, we're still on the platform.
Ausstieg rechts.
Ausstieg rechts, which is a light to the right. Ausstieg links is a light to the left. In my pidgin German, you simply pick it up purely because of games like this. There we go. We, of course, will be looking out of here. You'll see the mirror folding in a moment. When we get going, anyway. There we go. I think it stays open so we can just watch the platform a little bit. There we go, it's shut, you can just see that there. Of course, we can't use these mirrors, that's because Train Simulator, apparently, in the manual to this, because yes, I've read the manual, the joke being that I seldom read the manual for these things, but I couldn't get it moving, so I had to give in and read the manual, which, if you are buying this, yeah, it's all in German, but the manual does come in English as well. But yeah, so apparently Train Simulator does not have the capability of having a mirrored texture, so it's just textured over. You can't actually use it as a mirror, but you know, it still pops out when ooh, let's have another photo. It's an ugly looking thing, isn't it? It is an ugly looking train. Unfortunately, this speed limiter malarkey that we've got on as well doesn't actually hold you at that speed. And when I say it doesn't hold you at that speed, what I mean is if you're going downhill, for instance, it won't brake for you. It'll work fine when you're going uphill, but it won't brake for you when you're going downhill. But as well, if you are, for instance, say we're at 100 now, if I turn that down to 80 or 75, it ain't going to brake, it'll just coast. So you can't actually use that as a tool to speed up and slow down, like the RFB tool which we use when we're playing Trains in World 2. You know the one I mean? If you've watched my Trains in World 2 videos in the ICE3s, you can use the RFB speed set to speed up and slow down. You can't do that on these, you have to manually brake. Now, of course, you can drive it without the destination codes, of course, but you don't get the announcements. I am using Quick Drive because a lot of the scenarios are for an updated version of this route, because this is set in the... I can't remember when this is set, it must be before 1996. It's set a while ago, let's just say that. It's not set in present day. So the scenarios are for an updated route, but it's only between Teltow Stadt and Potsdam, which means you miss out this fantastic section of the route, which is a bit of a shame. As well, with it only going from Teltow Stadt to Potsdam, you miss out all the central stations, like Brandenburger Tor, Friedrich Strasser, Gesundbrunnen, which is the north cross on the Ringbahn. If you know Berlin, you'll know what I'm on about. But have a look at the map. It's good if you're, if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe pop me to the right-hand side of your screen, assuming you're on a monitor, and get the Ringbahn, the S-Bahn Berlin map up on the left, so you can track us as we go. Now, the station we are currently arriving into is Berlin-Tegel, which is, of course, if you're familiar with Flight Simulator, or if you're just familiar with planes in general, is one of the airports in Berlin. Now, of course, Berlin was a divided city in history due to the Cold War, etc., etc. So you had the American section, the English/British section, the French section, and of course the Eastern section, which was owned by the USSR. Now, of course, please do bear with me on that, because my history is, this is just what I've picked up. It'll be riddled with factual inaccuracies, but this is a brief history according to Joe. And so there were a couple of airports up until recently in Berlin. We had Tegel, which is in the northwest of the city. We have Tempelhof, which is in the southwest of the city, and we had Schönefeld, which was in the east of the city. Now, Schönefeld is known better today as Berlin-Brandenburg. Schönefeld is the Terminal 5. So Terminal 5 of Berlin-Brandenburg is the old Schönefeld airport. So this is, of course, a station for Tegel, which, if you're familiar with Berlin, like I say, you'll know it's nowhere near Tegel. It's quicker to get a U-Bahn, I think, is it the U7, and get the TXL. But of course the TXL doesn't run anymore because Tegel Airport shut a few years ago. I had the pleasure of flying into Tegel before Brandenburg opened, but now Tempelhof is shut. That closed many years ago now. I actually rode one of those awful e-scooters just last week down the runway at Tempelhof, because they've opened it up into like a park area for everyone, so you can actually go and walk down the aircraft taxiways, walk down the runway, or get a scooter, fly down the runway and yell V1 rotate. If you're a flight simmer, that might appeal to you, but yeah, as we did, it was absolutely brilliant. Tegel only closed a few years ago. I don't know what they're doing with that now, and of course Schönefeld has been incorporated into Brandenburg. Oh, you see, what city would not appeal to a transport enthusiast? It has 3 airports, for crying out loud, and many more little airfields around. Now, we're heading towards the... Oh, there you go, you see, we're speeding a little bit now. So we're heading towards... we're kind of heading towards the east now. If you look directly at the map... Obviously, it might be... It's not geographically, it's just a map, isn't it? But we're heading across to the east now. And Eichborn is our next stop. Now, of course, the U6, you can change at Tegel for the U6 there. We're branching off from the U6.
Eichborn-Damm.
Eichborn-Damm, there we go. Brilliant. Can you believe we're a quarter of the way through our route now? It's nuts, isn't it, how quickly the time flies when you're enjoying yourself. There we go, we'll just make sure we stop correctly. There's a lot of full braking on this with me. Because it seems like the slower it gets, the less it wants to brake. Oh. And of course, let's not forget that all of this is in kilometres an hour. Kilometres? Yeah, kilometres an hour as opposed to miles an hour. So my braking is always all over the place. There we go, Eichborn-Damm. Of course, we have different stop boards depending how long your train is, whether it's a 4, a 6 or an 8 car train. Now I believe this is the stop board for the 8 and the, oh no, the 8 will be there, look, 8 and 4. The Halt on the left.
Ausstieg rechts.
Ausstieg rechts. Off you get, please. There we go. Of course, you can see that. Oh, there's different people. Oh, she must be. I dread to think he's reading some literature. I don't know what she's doing. She's having a heart attack, and he's just not even interested. She's clutching her chest. There we go. We've got opening doors, of course. These buttons are weird. I don't like them. I wonder if this works. If oh no, we're on the wrong side. But there is a button which is just there. You can see that. You can press that and actually shut the doors if it's a cold day. It's not modelled. They flipped it. That's why. Right, of course. No problem. Right, let's get going. Of course, this is quick drive, so we're not running it to any timetable. I've said why. Plus, as well, we can just have a nice leisurely trip through Berlin, and you know, we're not having to worry about anything like that. We will still see plenty of AI traffic, because there is AI traffic in the central zone, which is good. We like to see AI traffic lurking about. Of course, some of it's in a tunnel here, which is always kind of a bit of a problem for AI traffic, because you just don't see it. A lot of nice little houses on the left-hand side. It's nice that they're not all the same colour for obvious reasons. Oh, hang on. We need to, yeah.
Karl Bonhoeffer Nervenklinik. Übergang zur U-Bahn-Linie 8.
So if you're a fan of Microsoft Train Simulator, i.e. the old Microsoft Train Simulator back in the day, you might have stopped at Karl Bonhoeffer Nervenklinik, which is on the U8. If you remember, for MSTS, I had the Berlin U-Bahn add-on, and when I used to race up and down in the variety of Berlin stock for the U8 and the U2, I never actually thought that I would come to this city. I don't know why I never thought I would.
Ausstieg rechts.
But yeah, I never dreamed that I would be racing up and down in real life on these trains. Now, yeah, U8 is one of the wide gauge underground lines. We've got 1 to 4, which is narrow gauge in inverted comma, standard gauge, wide gauge. But yeah, U1 to 4 are the smaller, narrow profile trains. And because I shouldn't say narrow gauge, because they're not actually narrow gauge. The gauging of the track, I do believe, is exactly the same. It's just the trains are wider on the U5 and upwards. Sorry, I don't actually know. The doors don't actually shut until passengers have finished boarding. You get that nice little click sound. As we're not running to a timetable, like I say, you just have to kind of sit here and press the button until it works. So yeah, change here for the U8. Der U8. Der U8. Sorry, I normally can kind of muddle by in German, but of course, with me having the camera on, not the camera, the screen recorder, and me talking, of course, I'm going to completely cock it up. Right, full steam ahead. Next stop, Alt-Reinickendorf. This is the last stop on our S25 section of the line before we join on to the S1 and the S26. We'll have it in the 0 position. We're kind of in and out when it comes to the single track section on this bit, and it all gets a little bit more interesting from after Halter Barnhof, because there's a little bit more to see. Because of course, at this point in the route, we are just getting closer and closer to the
Nächste
city centre
Station,
of Berlin.
Alt-Reinickendorf.
Well, it's not really a city centre, to be honest with you. It's I don't know if that's for me. I've pressed tab, nothing's happened, so maybe that signal's for someone else. I don't really understand the signalling on this, which is perhaps a good thing that I'm not driving to a timetable, because I might end up sat behind someone, mightn't I? Maybe I will. You know, if this gets good reception and you want to see more on this route, then maybe I will. There's only so much we can actually do on this, really, isn't there? Because, let's face it, we've got one type of train that operates, and we've got one route. I was really hoping that they would make more of this.
Ausstieg.
I mean, this didn't come out too long ago, did it, this route? If I remember rightly. The Heart of Berlin add-on, again, linked to that in the description, but I'm really hoping that they'll do something like the Ringbahn, which runs around the outside, or maybe the S3 that runs through Halter Barnhof, because Halter Barnhof is such an impressive station. Of course, what we've got to remember is you don't get an awful amount of, you know, you'd have to own a lot of German stock in order to see all of the AI, because let's not forget, this is just the S-Bahn, the S25, which is replicated here. So of course you don't get the add-on trains with it. You do get quite a few AI-only trains with this train. I think it's about 25 quid or 25 euro. The route's about 25 quid as well. So if you want the whole setup, it's quite expensive. But yeah, I would certainly recommend it if you're into your Berlin stuff. But yeah, around Berlin in itself, particularly near Gesundbrunnen, Sudkreuz, there's a lot of AI stuff to see. Or there should be. Now there's not, because of course I don't have all of those trains. But there would be a lot of stuff passing you, because it's like Sudkreuz is South Cross, that's what that translates as quite literally, where you can go north, south, east, west. Oh, have we got a... oh, there we go. I don't know if that changes as you come flying up to it, or if you have to actually request it. But I thought I'd tab so we didn't spad. Yeah, next up, Schönholz, where we are gonna, there you go, there's the S1 and the S26 there, where we're gonna dive under, oh, we are speeding.
1 und 85.
Lots of graffiti, and I love that. Well, I don't love it, because, you know, graffiti's not great, but Berlin is covered in graffiti. It's a more culturally accepted thing. Oh look, there's a plane going to Tegel there. So Tegel mustn't have shut at this point. Oh, hang on, what's happened there? That's another problem. If you're driving this with the hood, a lot of the speed limits like that are not advertised. So, you know, they just spring themselves upon you. But yeah, there's a lot of graffiti. Look, there we go, covered in graffiti over there. It's seen as a much more culturally accepted thing, the graffiti, in, well, a lot of Europe, to be honest with you. It's only really Britain where we turn our noses up at it. But yeah, a lot of graffiti everywhere, so it's great to see that this isn't clean. Hell, a lot of planes landing, isn't there? There's another one. I hope that other one expedites off the runway. Christ alive.
Ausstieg links.
Of course, any train sim add-on always seems to cock up the planes. Oh look, there's another frog going the other way. Where are you on? S1 to Oranienburg. That's where he's going. Hello. Give him a wave. He's is he a 6 or an 8 car train there? 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's a 6. Look, you can see there. Oh, there's another plane. Doors shutting. Another plane. Off we go. Right, so next stop, Wollangstrasse, where again, just after that, we join on some more S-Bahn lines. The S2, which comes down from Brno, or Bernau, because Brno is, of course, in the Czech Republic. Or, no, hang on, is it Austria? I'm getting confused. Yeah, it's Austria. Hang on, no, I'm trying to think back to the trip we
Nächste
did. We were in Czech
Station,
Republic and Austria.
Wollankstraße.
No, Brno's Czech Republic, isn't it? Of course, yeah. Now you've just been silly, but it's Brno. It's a different place. Just put it that way. It's a different place. You cannot get an S-Bahn from Berlin to Brno in the Czech Republic. That would just be silly. I'm really doubting my geographical knowledge here. Really, really am. But yeah, this is so typically German. You've got all the German, like the architecture and everything. It just feels really, really immersive. I absolutely love this add-on. I don't know if that's come across like in what we've done so far, but yeah, really, really love this add-on. I do make a point of going at least once a year. I mean, I think this year we're going again in August. We have been asked, do you not get bored? No, absolutely not. But yes, we're going again in August, and the Christmas markets are brilliant here. That's a good time to spend a lot of time on transport because obviously it's freezing outside. We've just come back in mid-May, early to mid-May, and it was very hot. So a lot of buses are quite, what's the word? Sticky. Sticky is a good word there because of the temperature. You know, very, very, very warm. Right, off we go. Berlin, Teltow Stadt, on our way. Of course, the estimated time of arrival keeps getting later and later and later. Just ignore that in the bottom corner. We're almost halfway there. We're going to be joining onto the S2 now, as well as the S85, which of course, if you're familiar with where that goes around to Zeuthen. It goes to the southeast, basically, of Berlin. It actually joins the Ringbahn, so after Bornholmerstrasse, we go forward to Gesundbrunnen, and this takes a left-hand turn, which then joins on with the Ringbahn. It's quite a complicated system, actually. There's a hell of a lot of lines that go everywhere. You can, of course, as well see the Berlin TV tower in front, the Firmenzentrum. And there's the lines there coming up in the middle. That's the S2 and the S85, of course. The S85 terminating at Pankow, where you can continue as an S8, which goes up to Birkenwerder. Go, try to stop roughly by the 6.
Ausstieg links.
And if you zoom in on the TV tower, it is actually flashing. Now these lights are red, of course, for the aircraft, but it's still flashing, so that's nice. What have we got here? Oh wow, what's this? Tage der offenen Tor in S-Bahn Werk Erkner. Ah, so you can actually... Right, so take an open day tour in Erkner, the S-Bahn. Oh yes, of course, there is an S-Bahn work up in Erkner. We went there. So this is what these are known as the toasters or the triangle stock. I call them triangles because they've got triangles on the front, frogs, and we've not seen squares on this. These are of course not currently in operation. So I don't have a nickname for that because I've never ridden on one. Right, there we go. We'll pop that back to 70. I think we go down to 50 down here. Yeah, there you go. It just goes to 50. It doesn't tell you. It just changes, which is, of course, I'm starting to get a little bit of route knowledge here. Just a smidge. So, of course, there, round to the left is where you would go if you were on the S8, the S85. Oh, hang on. Back up to 70. Lovely. Road bridge going over the top. An S-Bahn here. Is that another frog? I think they all are, to be honest with you.
Gesundbrunnen. Übergang zu den S-Bahn-Linien 41, 42, zur U-Bahn-Linie 8 und zum Regional- und Fernverkehr.
So this is Gesundbrunnen. You have you get quite a few ICEs that stop here, regional trains.
Passengers traveling to Messe Nord ICC, please change here.
There you go. So yeah, if you're going anywhere. You can practically get anywhere in Berlin from this station, which is see the Ringbahn goes like right round the outskirts of Berlin, hence the Ringbahn. There are 4 main stations on the Ringbahn. Of course, there's plenty of others, but the 4 main ones are Ostkreuz, which is East Cross, Südkreuz, Westkreuz, and you'd think it'd be Nordkreuz, as in North Cross, but it's not. It's Gesundbrunnen.
Ausstieg links.
Now, if you're at Gesundbrunnen, you can... oh, hang on, we'll pop out of this train. You can pop up outside here, and there is a shopping centre. Wait, there we go. Shopping centre about there. There it is. And if you take a walk up here... Oh, we're getting yelled at. If you take a walk up here at Gesundbrunnen, so you turn left at the station, you have got Berlin Unterwelt, the underworld of Berlin. Oh, someone else is going. I thought I'd missed my own train for a second. Yeah, you can take a walking tour on Berlin Unterwelt, the underworld of Berlin. You can look around Cold War bunkers, nuclear bunkers, etc. World War II bunkers. It's absolutely fantastic, so informative. And we do also have... Oh, look, there's another one there. Where are you going? That might be a Ringbahn. Where are you going? S1 Orianenberg. Well, you don't go... Not going that way, you're not. Hey, I don't know. We've got... oh, we missed it. We might just see it. Hang on. If we have a look up here. We've got... right, hang on. This, and you can actually take a walk up this, one of the old towers. There's quite a few of them dotted around Berlin. I say quite a few. There's a couple. A lot of them have been destroyed now, and there's a nice rose garden at the bottom of that one that you can take a walk around. It's very nice. Humboldthain. I don't have anything to tell you about this place. It's a stop, and there's things there. You know, there's probably people's houses. Probably more of a commuter stop than anything else. There is probably somewhere really interesting. But there's things to look at every stop that's interesting on this, well, in this city. But yeah, Humboldthain. I don't know anything about this place. If you know, if there's something we've been missing, please do, of course, let me know. Because every time we go back, we want to look at new things that we've not seen before. It's letting me close the doors fairly early on Humboldthain, so maybe there's not a lot happening. Off we go. Nordbahnhof is the next stop. Another stop which you should absolutely take a trip to. We're going to dive underground for Nordbahnhof, where we're going to remain for a vast portion of the journey now, until just before Südkreuz. Sorry. There we go. So we'll just stick at 50, as it's gone to 50 now. It seems quite slow, doesn't it? This is, of course, the speed that I've been on. I've been on these most of the time. Oh, the woman with the heart attack's got off. That's good. Hopefully she's in a Krankenwagen, i.e. a sick wagon. You know what one of those is. Hospital. Not a hospital, that's a place. That's Krankenhaus, the sick house. A Krankenwagen is, of course, an ambulance. There you go. It's nice that Germans are very literal with their words. A sick wagon, which will take you to a sick house. Love it.
Nächste Station.
Give them a 2.
Nordbahnhof.
Coming through. Oh, hang on. Of course, we are going downhill. So it's quite easy to lose track of your speed there. This is very similar to the U-Bahn in this middle section. A lot of signals here. I'm not good at reading the German signals, but of course, because we are on quick drive, they are just all showing green, which is fine by me. And Nordbahnhof is the most northern, north station, Nordbahnhof. Oh, hang on, come on, don't miss the station. You've been doing really well. Oh, I'm going to overrun the station, aren't I? Right, so if we just all jump out and look this way, You've got a lot of the new station signs. How bad is it? Oh, it's only right. If we could all just not get off at the front set of doors, please. Thank you. There we go. Lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah, so there we go. We've got information there. We've got these. All of these stations are brilliantly. They've got all the stations signing, which is recreated. You've got the lift here. Working escalators. Absolutely love it. Ignore the fact that doors open. It's not open. It's... yeah, you saw it wrong. Of course, we've got the new station signs, but also these fantastically historic old station signs. This font, I can never remember what the typeface is called, but it's very Nazi. You know, there's a lot of old Nazi publications and signs which use this font, and a lot of stations have been replacing them, which I think is a real shame. You know, I love this old font because, I mean, a lot of what the Germans do, you would think, obviously there's what's gone on in World War II. You know, it's not a good thing. We don't want a repeat of that. It's a terrible, terrible thing that happened. Much like what we see today in Russia, you know, there's just wars. We don't need wars. Wars are, you know, I can happily do without them. But it's nice that in Berlin, rather than try and shy away from it and like pretend it didn't happen, they've embraced it. They really have. And it's like, let's remember what's happened so we can avoid it happening again, which is really, really nice. There's a lot of things in Berlin which are, you know, there's a lot of memorials, a lot of really lovely things, and a lot of historic places you can visit, a lot of museums which just lay it all on the table. This is what happened. It was a tragedy. You know, a lot of the Berlin Wall, you can go at Bahnhof. That was what I meant to tell you and I forgot. You can go at Bahnhof and they will tell you there's a museum, an old section of the wall that's been preserved, so you can see how it used to be. There's a museum, you can go there. It's really, really fascinating. I'm not normally one for museums, but I absolutely love it.
Straße.
Now, Oranienburger Strasse, again, I've not really got a lot to tell you about Oranienburger Strasse, except for the fact that we are actually going to stop here correctly this time. It's just a station with... This is like one of the main sections now, so you've got the S1, the S2, the S25, the S26. I think these are the only trains that come through here. I better not miss this flipping station again. I've gone past the stop board, I can tell you that for free.
Ausstieg links.
It's getting used to these brakes, I tell you, it's like the slower you get, the less it seems to want to brake. It's very, very weird to get the hang of driving. There we go, Zurück bleiben bitte. Which is, of course, Zurück is back, Bleibe is stay, and bitte is please. You've got stay back, please, i.e. the doors are shutting. Zurück bleiben bitte. Off we go. Next stop, Friedrich Strasser. Now, Friedrich Strasser is, again, a main station on this... well, it's the main S-Bahn station, really, in the centre. Now, Friedrich Strasser is where the lines that go north to south meet the lines that go east to west. Now, of course, we're ignoring the Ringbahn because that doesn't go through the centre of Berlin. Oh. Oh, come on, brake a bit more. There we go. There we go, going uphill now. Very, very windy, isn't it?
Nächste Station, Friedrichstraße.
He's going to tell you we can change for a lot of things
zu den
now.
S-Bahn-Linien 5, 7, 75, zur U-Bahn-Linie 6 und zum Regionalverkehr. Fahrgäste nach Hauptbahnhof steigen bitte hier um.
Change here for
Passengers
Hauptbahnhof.
traveling to Hauptbahnhof, please change here.
Again, we're a little bit past the 6 car, but I don't suppose it matters, does it?
Ausstieg links.
So yeah, Friedrichstrasse is where the north-south meets the east-west. You can change here for trains towards Hauptbahnhof, Hackschenmarkt, Alexanderplatz, which is, again, the main U-Bahn station. It's a bit weird because there's a lot of main bits in Berlin. There's not really a city centre. There we go, get them doors shut. Now, this is where I don't really understand what happens here. Now, we are off to Unter den Linden. which after Friedrich Strasser, the next stop is, of course, Brandenburger Tor, where you go for the Brandenburg Gate. And I'm just wondering, Unter den Linden is a stop on the U6. Is the U6 yet? And of course the new U5. It was the U55, it's now the U5 because they've joined it up at
Nächste
Alexanderplatz.
Station,
Now,
Brandenburger Tor.
he's announced Brandenburger Tor, you see.
Linie 55.
Did it used to be called Unter den Linden? Has it been renamed Brandenburger Tor, or have they redone the tunnel? Have they moved it so it goes somewhere else? Because Unter den Linden is not far from Brandenburger Tor. Again, you've got the very Nazi style writing on the right hand side. This looks like a much older station. I'm just not sure what they've done with it, whether they have actually updated the whole station. I'm going to miss part of this again. I'm too busy looking at the station, for goodness sake.
Ausstieg
There
links.
we go, there we go, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's all fine, see? There we go, if we nip out here. I don't recall a lot of this. I've been to Brandenburg Tor a few times. I don't know if this is the same station, you know, I really don't. Of course, when you're in the train, these lights light up. And away we go. Yeah, so if you know what's happened here, if they've just changed the name of the station, has it had maybe a refurbishment? Has it actually been moved to Brandenburger Tor, where it now links with the U5? Please do let me know. Again, if you're a Berliner, if you know how it used to be and how it is now. I think personally, rather than moving the whole tunnel, they'd probably just rename the station. But then this is the Germans, and the Germans do a lot of big, exciting things. So it could just be that they've moved the whole track. Now Potsdamer Platz is the next stop on the line here. Again, big station where you can connect with the U2. There is the Sony Centre. The Berlin Mall is also at this stop, and there's a nice old section of wall which is left in. Quite a few nice things to look at, historical there.
Und zum Regionalverkehr.
But yeah, Potsdamer Platz, there's a lovely big tower which houses DB. It's the Deutsche Bahn headquarters, and I reckon, given I used to work for Arriva Northern, a Northern Rail, when Arriva owned it, I reckon my name's probably in a filing cabinet in there, along with a lot of my other friends. I know that DB, of course, do not operate Northern anymore. Of course, it was given up a few years ago, that franchise.
Ausstieg links.
Yeah, it was given up a few years ago now, wasn't it? But I reckon, because I've been an employee of DB, again, my name's probably in there. Potsdamer Platz as well is where you'll find the Sony Centre. The Sony Centre has got a lovely couple of restaurants in. There's an Australian place, which I can't remember the name of, which is lovely. And there's a place called Lindenbrau, which does that traditional German cuisines, beers, wines, etc. Very, very nice in there. Very good food. So yeah, if you are in Berlin, I particularly recommend taking a trip to Lindenbrau. It's very, very good. Very, very good. Now, continuing south, this is where we're kind of leaving the city now. We've got Halter Barnhof, which again, I've not really got a lot of stuff to tell you about that, to be honest with you. There we go, are we keeping at 40? Getting quite slow through this central section, isn't it, really?
Nächste Station, Anhalter Bahnhof. Übergang zur S-Bahn Linie 1.
Oh, what on earth's happened there? The lights are somewhat different in that carriage. Why are the lights not on in here? Oh, we'll just coast in. Quite steep upwards, eh? You can see the third rail changing sides. Just coast in. We'll look this way. There we go. Okay, yeah, we could have probably come in a bit quicker, but it's not the end of the world, is it?
Ausstieg rechts.
There we go, doors open. Oh, there's another train coming the other way. Get them doors shut. Now, I don't know if this is where, just after here is where you branch off for if you're going on the S1, which goes down towards Wannsee and Potsdam. Oh no, sorry, it terminates at Wannsee, which you would need to change there for Potsdam. Now, we are going under a river. No, we're not. I'm looking at the flipping map. It's not a river. It's the U7, for goodness sake, which is at Yorkstrasse. Now, Yorkstrasse does have a section. It's got the S1 at Yorkstrasse, but it looks like it's separate. Now, I don't know because I've never got off here, but it does look like it's on the map as if it's a separate station. You know, like the same place, but you would have to walk from one to the other. Now, I don't know if we split off back there, if we split off here. You can see it going up there on the left-hand side, as if it's going to go somewhere else. That's where I reckon. Yeah, you change here for the U7, which if you've got World of Subways Volume 2, you'll be familiar with Yorkstrasse, because you can drive the U7, which goes from Rudow to Rathaus Spandau, the House of Rats in Spandau, i.e. the town hall. Again, the Germans with their ways, with their language, very, very apt, isn't it, to be honest with you? Now, we're coming out of the tunnels by the looks of things here. Definitely going uphill. Ah, there we go. I think that is us out of the tunnels now for the rest of our journey. Full of weeds. I'm surprised that's not full of graffiti.
Südkreuz. Übergang zu den S-Bahn-Linien 41,
Südkreuz? It's absolutely nothing of the sort.
45, 46
You're
zum Regional-
just...
und Fernverkehr.
Excuse me.
Fahrgäste nach Flughafen Schönefeld steigen bitte hier um.
No.
Passengers traveling to Schönefeld Airport, please change here.
No. Oh, hang on, I've cocked that up now. Right, let's stop the train and then we can, right, cancel that. Yorkstrasse, there we go. I'm at the wrong one. What happened there then? Have I messed it up? Has it messed up itself?
Links.
There we go, Ausstieg links. Still off to Teltow Stadt. We'll have a nice photo at Yorkstrasse. Einsteigen bitte. Get on, please. Right, off we go. Now the next stop, Südkreuz. For goodness sake. Flipping man. I'm hoping it'll still work as an announcement system now that I've skipped back. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens at Südkreuz. Südkreuz is, of course, the South Cross, where we can connect with the Ringbahn. So instead of going right the way around the edge of the Ringbahn, we've literally gone straight through the middle of it. There you go. Berlin Südkreuz coming up in just over 1.5 kilometres. Change here for the Ringbahn. There's regional trains that go from here as well, and I do believe that ICEs stop here. You can change here for an enormous amount of stuff to the south of Germany. I can't remember, we once got on an ICE, because at the minute you can't get an ICE from Südkreuz into Halter Barnhof, capital station. You can't do that because they are drop-off only, same as coming south. Say you were at Halter Barnhof wanting to go into, say it was a train that went to, I don't know, Munich. The stops all in Berlin,
Nächste
they're just
Station,
pick up only to stop you, stop the commuters
Übergang zu den
hopping on the ICE. I dread to think what would happen if you hopped on and you got caught.
45,
We've never done it.
46
We did back in the
und
day
zum Regional- und
when you
Fernverkehr.
were allowed to do it, but then they seem
Fahrgäste
to
nach
be a bit
Flughafen
more strict with
Schönefeld
it now.
steigen bitte hier Passengers traveling to Schönefeld Airport, please change here.
There we go, we're back on now. Yeah, they didn't seem to used to mind, because it was actually advertised on the screens, the places it stopped at, whereas now they don't advertise it and it is literally pick up only. You can't use the ICEs to get around Berlin, which is a shame because I used to quite like just hopping on an ICE. They were normally standing room only because you have to reserve a seat. That's another reason they probably stopped it. But yeah. Oh well. I'll have to buy a ticket, won't I, and go somewhere. Where could we go? I'll have to do a trip somewhere. I've not done any other German cities, so it would be quite nice. Apart from Dresden. Dresden's lovely.
Ausstieg links.
There we go. So, of course, if we... oh, hang on. That's Teltow Stadt. Ah, where's my cab gone? Right, so if we nip out here, you've got a lovely, lovely station here. Brilliant. And if we just go up here, you'll see these are the lines that cross across the top. So you've got some railway lines here, the S-Bahn either side. Escalators slap bang in the middle of the track. Brilliant. Yeah, let's say no more about that. Of course, that's not a drivable section of route, so obviously, if you're driving it from the cab... Oh, there's a plane up there as well. If you're driving this from the cab, you don't need to see it, do you? But, yeah. I would like them to do the Ringbahn. I'd like them to do so many more S-Bahn routes, and I'm really hoping they do. I realise this is probably quite a niche market, the S-Bahn in Germany. Hell, another plane. Frequent service again, aren't they? It's quite a niche market in comparison to something like, I don't know, York to London. They would probably make more money, but maybe I'm just looking at that from an English person's perspective. Maybe lots of the German transit market have bought this. I'm hoping that they have, you know, because I'd really, really love to see more Berlin S-Bahn. Definitely more Berlin S-Bahn routes to use this train on. I mean, hell, it was €25, so I could really do with getting my use out of it. Oh, hang on, it's just dropped to 90. So if we could just slow down, that'd be lovely. Of course, we are going uphill, which is why it's slowing down, not because I've moved the limiter down.
Nächste Station, Priesterweg.
Priesterweg.
Übergang zur S-Bahn-Linie 2.
Change here for the S2, which is, of course, that will branch off here and go towards Blankenfelder, whereas we take a right turn down towards Teltow Stadt along with the S26. PR probably means Priesterweg. I'd imagine that at one point that was a signal box. Doesn't look like it still is. Certainly doesn't look like it still is, does it? There's a lot of architecture on the S-Bahn, which, you know, it looks like there was a lot more here than what there actually is now. There's quite a few S-Bahn stations that look like they're just kind of dilapidated and run down. That there used to be a lot going on, and now there's just not.
Links.
I guess it's rather sad. That's the world we live in, isn't it? That things are getting more automated, and at one time, places that were full of activity... Let's shut the doors now. Places that were full of activity, full of life, are just not now. You know, it really is quite sad. Really is quite sad indeed. Ticket machines are recreated quite well. Yeah, the DB ticket machines. I like that. And of course, you got the S2 going off to Blankenfelder up there. I think, we don't dive under it, do we? We should go around to the right here. Unless the map's wrong. Ah, yeah, there you go. You dive under coming the other way. Now, I do fully imagine that there would be a lot more to see in terms of AI traffic if we were playing a scenario, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Bit of AI traffic there. I imagine there will be more to see. However, of course, like I said, I just thought we'd have a casual, relaxed drive through Berlin. With it being overhead wires on the left there, I imagine that we are going to go alongside the regional services.
Südende.
Südende. There's not that far to go now, folks. Not that far to go, don't you worry. Yeah, from here you can see the RE3, the RE4 and the RE5, which of course are regional express services. Now, you might get a couple of stuff running along here if you're playing a scenario. I think they come with the train, with this. If you buy this train, I think you get a couple of AI trains that run down here. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that. But I think that might be on the S25 route that only goes from Teltow Stadt up to Potsdam. Which again, if we'd have driven that, we'd have missed out a large section of the northern part of the map. And we'd have missed out all of the northern part of the route. And we would have missed out a large portion of the city centre, which I like driving, because those are the bits I know from hanging around the city centre. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Next stop, Langwitz. Yeah, I'd like them to bring in the S3, which goes from Spandau in the west all the way up to Ilkner. That would be a really, really good route. Oh, we're back on single track again. Over a river of some kind. Or a canal, probably a river. The Germans don't strike me as a particularly canal-y country. Canal-y? Is that a word? It is now. Yeah, they don't strike me as a country that has a lot of canals. Again, I imagine they probably do, but it strikes me more as navigable rivers rather than canals. Of course, I've got absolutely no evidence to back that up. That's just a theory, a thought, a theory. It's one of them. Oh, we're above 7 kilometers an hour, so we won't do it.
Ausstieg rechts.
There we go. Get them doors closed. Next up, Lichterfelder Ost. Sorry, Lichterfelder Ost, which is Lichterfelder East. And then there's Ostdorfer Straße and Lichterfelder Sud, which is Lichterfelder South. And if you are looking for Lichterfelder West, you need to be on a U-Bahn line. You need to be on... no, I'm telling a lie. You need to be on an S-Bahn line, the S1, which branched off from us back further up the line at Yorkstrasse. You need to be on that if you want Lichterfelder West. And again, for some reason, there's no Lichterfelder North. I don't know what it is about the Germans. They don't seem to like stations called something North. We've got no Nordkreuz. We've got no Lichterfelder Nord.
Lichterfelder Ost.
Who knows?
Übergang zum Regionalverkehr.
Oh, we've got a... yeah, we do have a regional station here. You can change here for regional trains, which is Regionalverkehr. What looks like some turnback sidings there with maintenance platforms. Maybe they store some trains here overnight. Lichterfelder Ost. You do get the announcement, of course, because on the outside of the train. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's the train that plays it. It sounds like it's the station that plays it. I don't know if like they're Bluetoothed. But yeah, when the driver makes an announcement, the station makes an announcement. It's very weird. Very, very weird. Right, off we go. You have, of course, got various different methods of dispatching these trains, which I've not covered today, because to be honest with you, I've not read, I've not learned, but you've got ZAB, which if you have a look over there, that's that one. Oh, ZAT, sorry, not ZAB. I've not really read much into it, to be honest with you. I just go with, just sit repeatedly pressing the door close button until the doors close, because it doesn't let you close them until passengers have finished boarding and alighting anyway. There we go. 71 will do. There we go. Osdorfer Straße. Osdorfer Street.
Nächste Station, Osdorfer Straße.
Can't change here for anything. Look, the regional lines go straight past. There we go. We'll just come in nice and steady. We don't want to be missing any stations now. Clocks on the stations, of course, show the correct time, which is always nice. That one was showing 6:30, which it is now. It's literally 18:28, which is what it says on the game. I've got it bang on the correct time.
Ausstieg links.
So this is nice, but of course I'm recording this. This is now 18:28 on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Whereas, of course, let's not forget Germany's an hour ahead, so I should really be an hour ahead. But never mind. Off we go. 4 kilometres from Teltow Stadt, now a tenth of the route remaining. I realise this is a long slog. If you have got this far, then congratulations and thank you for sticking with. I do hope you are finding this to be an interesting route, because it's certainly a good one to drive. Again, I recommend, if you have just less than 50 quid to spare, which is what it costs you, 25 for the route, €25 for the train, so in pounds that's just a little bit less than 25 quid. That's roughly 20 quid, isn't it? Oh, another train there. Hello! Yeah, I reckon if you've got that money to spare, you're looking for a new route, I would certainly recommend this. It's such a good route. Really detailed. It just feels like I'm there. You know, it just does. Feels like I'm in Berlin. Feels like I'm back home in my favourite city on earth. Got buses on the right hand side there. Strasse, which is of course U for U-Bahn.
Ausstieg links.
Lichterfelder Süd. Nice and quiet outside. Nice and quiet. Oh, you're in the way of my shop, woman. Eh, dear me. Stand back, everybody. Zurückbleiben bitte. Yep, thank you very much. Off we go. Next and final stop is Teltow Stadt, just under 3 kilometres away. Yeah, this is a long video, isn't it? Long video. Again, if you've got this far, I hope you found my my Berlin factoids, however factually correct they are. reasonably entertaining. Of course, we branch off at Teltow, which there isn't a stop at Teltow. There's a regional band stop at Teltow, which is just on the left-hand side, a little bit further than where we go. Whereas we go off to Teltow Stadt, which is of course Teltow Town. So it's like, imagine that as a parkway station. Hail! Way, we are off, aren't we? Christ, nearly spun off the lines. Now I imagine that the speed limit is going to drop here. It doesn't say it's going to, but I imagine it's going to drop to like 60 and then 40. I think it does, this section of track. Oh, I like it as well because they always do an announcement at terminating stations in English. And they say we are now approaching the last stop on the line. And I really like that. I don't know why I like that. Yeah, I imagine we're going to get a reduction in speed here because we're counting down, aren't we? Or maybe we're not. Surely it can't be 100 kilometres an hour into Teltow Stadt. Lovely. We'll just cruise in at 60. I think that's an acceptable number. Oh no, it's 40. My apologies. Right, there we go. It'll do. We were only speeding for a little bit of time. It's like when I drive. What is it? The thing.
Teltow Stadt.
Teltow Stadt.
Endstation. Bitte alle aussteigen. Attention please. We are now approaching the last stop on the line. All passengers are requested to leave the train.
Of course, that's a different bloke that's done the announcements for this as in real life. He's got quite a throaty voice, the chap that does it in real life. It's absolutely brilliant. I love his voice for the announcements. They're really good. The guy that does the English announcements, I mean. Right, well, here we go. Teltow Stadt, our next and final stop. That was the full S25, S25, which is 5 and 20. 25, which is from Henningsdorf in the north to Teltow Stadt in the south. I really, really do hope you have enjoyed coming with us today on this rather lengthy S-Bahn route. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do show your appreciation by clicking the like button. Please do also subscribe if you haven't already, because we will be coming back to Train Simulator. We might be back on Teltow Stadt, depending if you enjoyed it or not. And I would hate for you to miss it, so make sure you subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Cheerio! Goodbye for now.